Let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever been woken up at 2 a.m., not because of a bad dream, not because of noise outside, but because your own bladder pulled you out of bed again? You shuffle to the bathroom half asleep, maybe once, maybe twice, maybe more. And by the time you're back under the covers, sleep is gone. Sound familiar? Now here's my confession. For the longest time, I thought this was just how life worked as we got older. I thought waking up multiple times at night was just a part of aging, something we all had to accept. But I was wrong. Dead wrong. And here's a powerful fact for you. Poor sleep doesn't just make you tired. For seniors, it actually weakens the immune system, raises the risk of serious falls at night, and even speeds up memory decline. Yes, missing deep sleep can take years off your health. That's how important this is. Think about it. When you don't sleep well, everything feels harder. You're more irritable. You can't focus. Your body feels heavier. Now imagine being 70 or 80 years old. Your body already needs all the rest it can get, and yet you're waking up 3, 4, maybe even 5 times a night. That exhaustion builds up like a mountain. I once spoke with an elderly gentleman who told me he hadn't slept through the night in years. Every single night, like clockwork, he was up and down, back and forth. And the heartbreaking part? He thought this was normal. He thought there was no way out. But then, he tried one small change, something so simple it almost sounded silly. And after years of struggle, he finally slept through the night. That moment changed his entire outlook on life. And you know what? That's exactly why we're here today. Because you deserve to know the truth too. By the end of this video, you're going to discover the surprising herb seniors can chew for just 60 seconds to calm the bladder and drift into deeper sleep. The real science behind why nighttime urination increases with age and why it's not always just old age. Habits you can start tonight that will dramatically cut down those bathroom trips. The biggest myths families believe about elderly sleep that keep loved ones stuck in restless nights. And finally, practical wellness tips you can put into action right away without feeling overwhelmed or confused. This isn't theory, this is real, simple, and doable. Before we dive in, let's make this a conversation. Comment the words "I'm here" down below if you or someone you love struggles with nighttime urination. I want to see how many of us are walking this same road, because trust me, you're not alone. And let me be brutally honest with you. If you don't subscribe right now, think about this. The next time your parent or grandparent wakes up exhausted and drained, you're going to wish you had the knowledge we share here at Elderly Spring. Don't wait for regret. Hit that subscribe button this very moment. And if for some reason you're choosing not to, then I want you to head straight to the comments and explain why, because honestly, your loved ones deserve better than silence. Oh, and one more thing before we move on. Many of you have asked me about simple tools that make elderly sleep easier. That's actually why I created the Elderly Spring Sleep Wellness Kit. It's packed with gentle, effective strategies designed specifically for seniors who need better rest. You'll find the link down in the description. Check it out when you're ready. I think you'll find it really helpful. Why seniors wake up at night. Let's start with the number one question people ask me. Why do seniors wake up so much at night? I want you to imagine this for a moment. You've just tucked yourself in, the room is quiet, you're finally drifting into sleep, and then 2 hours later, you're awake again. You don't want to get up, but your bladder gives you no choice. You shuffle out of bed, make the trip, crawl back under the covers, and just when your body starts to relax again, it happens all over. For some seniors, this isn't once or twice. It can be 3, 4, even 5 times a night. Now here's the part most people don't know. This isn't always just a part of getting older. Yes, the body changes with age. The bladder muscles don't hold as much as they used to. Hormones that regulate sleep, like melatonin, naturally decrease. Medications for blood pressure, the heart, or diabetes can all have side effects that make nighttime urination worse. And on top of that, the natural circadian rhythm, that beautiful internal clock that tells us when to sleep, starts to weaken with age. But here's where the misconception comes in. Families often shrug and say, well, that's just aging. There's nothing to do about it. That belief robs seniors of the chance to improve their nights, because the truth is, there are small steps that make a world of difference. For example, cutting down fluids in the evening can help. Not starving yourself of water, but simply being mindful about heavy drinks 2 hours before bed. Gentle stretching before sleep, even for just a few minutes, can relax the muscles and calm the body. These changes don't sound dramatic, but for many seniors, they are the first building blocks to a full night's rest. And here's the key: recognizing that waking up constantly is not always normal. It's a signal your body is giving you that it needs attention, not surrender. The herb for deep sleep. Now let's talk about something both fascinating and practical: a simple herb. I remember speaking to a caregiver about her elderly mother. This woman had spent years trying everything to help her mom sleep better: new pillows, bedtime teas, even medications. Nothing worked. And then, almost by chance, someone recommended an old-fashioned herb. She was skeptical, but she gave it a try. Her mother chewed it for just 60 seconds before bed. That first night she still woke once, but she noticed it was easier to fall back asleep. By the third night, she slept almost straight through. Weeks later, her daughter said she hadn't seen her mom that rested in years. Now, I'm not going to name the herb directly here, because part of this is about sparking curiosity and discussion. But what I will say is this: many herbs carry gentle, natural compounds that calm the nervous system and relax the bladder. Think of herbs like chamomile or valerian, widely known for their calming effects. The herb we're talking about works in a very similar way. Here's the misconception. People believe that only strong sleeping pills can fix nighttime restlessness. But that's simply not true. Pills often come with side effects: grogginess, confusion, even falls. A safe herb used carefully can create that window of calm the body needs to slip into deep sleep. Of course, safety always matters. Herbs may interact with medications, so always check with a healthcare provider. But when used mindfully, they can be one of the simplest and gentlest bedtime supports. Now let me ask you, what's your favorite bedtime herb or tea? Share it in the comments. You never know who might benefit from your experience. The science of sleep in seniors. Let's take a closer look at sleep itself. Have you ever noticed how children can fall asleep anywhere, anytime? Deep, heavy sleep that nothing seems to disturb. But as we age, sleep becomes lighter, more fragile, easier to break. Why? The body cycles through stages of sleep: light sleep, deep restorative sleep, and REM, the dream stage. For younger people, these cycles run smoothly, giving plenty of deep sleep each night. But for seniors, deep sleep stages often shrink. That's why a small sound, a stiff joint, or the urge to urinate can wake them so easily. Here's why this matters. Deep sleep isn't just about feeling rested. It's when the brain clears waste, when memories are stored, and when the body repairs itself. Missing deep sleep leads to foggy thinking, weaker balance, and even higher risks of falls and illness. So, what can help? One of the simplest changes is light. Our bodies depend on light cues to know when to rest. Too much screen time before bed confuses the brain, while dimming the lights in the evening gently signals it's time to slow down. Even something as simple as keeping a regular bedtime, the same hour every night, helps retrain that internal clock. Small steps, big results. Diet nighttime urination. I'll share a story with you. An elderly woman once told me that she always enjoyed a hearty dinner, lots of salty foods, sometimes even a little soda before bed. She never connected her dinner choices to her restless nights. But when her family encouraged her to cut back on salt and avoid heavy late-night drinks, something amazing happened. She started sleeping longer stretches. This is because what you eat and drink plays a huge role in nighttime bathroom trips. Salty foods make the body hold on to water during the day, only to flush it out later at night. Caffeine, even from tea or chocolate, lingers for hours and irritates the bladder. Sugary foods create blood sugar swings that also disrupt sleep. The common mistake? Thinking, as long as I drink water, I'm fine. Hydration is important, yes, but the type of food and the timing of fluids matter just as much. A lighter dinner, more fruits and vegetables, and cutting off heavy drinks at least 2 hours before bed can transform nights. Sometimes the solution isn't a pill, it's simply on the plate. Lifestyle habits. Let's talk about habits. Many seniors take long naps during the day. They feel tired, so they sleep. But here's the trap. Long daytime naps make it harder to fall asleep at night, which leads to more exhaustion the next day. It becomes a vicious cycle. The misconception is simple. The more naps I take, the more energy I'll have. But it doesn't work that way. Short naps, 20 minutes, can refresh. But long naps steal away the depth of nighttime sleep. On the other side, inactivity is just as harmful. A body that hasn't moved much during the day doesn't feel the natural pull toward rest at night. Light evening walks, gentle stretches, or even simple chair exercises signal to the body that rest has been earned. And here's where I have to pause for a tough truth. If you're watching this and still haven't subscribed, ask yourself, what will happen the day your loved one falls because they were too tired from waking all night? That's a reality for so many families. We share solutions here every single week, things that could prevent that nightmare. Don't stay silent. Subscribe now. And if you're refusing, at least explain why in the comments, because someone else's family might be braver than you. Hidden causes. Families overlook. Sometimes, no matter what you try at home, sleep still won't improve. That's because there can be hidden medical causes. Take sleep apnea, for example. Many people think it's just about snoring, but it actually causes breathing to pause during the night, forcing the body awake. Or prostate problems in men, which increase bladder pressure, or an overactive bladder that doctors can treat if recognized. The misconception is dangerous. It's just aging. No, sometimes it's a medical condition that can and should be addressed. If a loved one is constantly waking, talk to a healthcare provider. You'd be surprised how many families discover treatable conditions they had ignored for years. Practical bedtime routine. Let's get practical. Imagine a caregiver building a simple 20-minute bedtime routine for their parent. First, they turn off bright lights and switch to softer lamps. Then they prepare a warm, caffeine-free tea. They sit together, maybe talk about something calming, or even read a book. A few minutes of deep breathing, and finally, the senior tucks into bed with a relaxed body and a quiet mind. This doesn't require fancy tools, just consistency, patience, and love. And if you'd like a guide to routines like this, I've bundled many of them into the Elderly Spring Sleep Wellness Kit. You'll find the link in the description. It's designed to help families create nights of peace instead of chaos. Myths about elderly sleep. There are myths that keep seniors stuck. One is, older people don't need much sleep. That's false. Seniors need rest just as much as anyone. The body doesn't stop repairing itself with age. Another myth, sleeping pills are the only option. Pills may help short-term, but long-term they often create dependency and side effects. The truth is, lifestyle changes, natural supports, and good routines are often more powerful than pills. Don't let myths steal your loved one's nights. Caregiver's role. And finally, let's talk about you, the caregiver. If you're helping a parent or grandparent, I know you're tired too. Watching someone you love struggle at night is draining, but your role matters more than you realize. Patience, observation, and gentle encouragement go a long way. Keep track of patterns, support healthy habits, and remind yourself, you're not alone. Every act of care is a gift, even on the hardest nights, and with the right tools, you can bring peace back into the home. Let's slow down together for a moment. Because this isn't just about herbs, routines, or science anymore. This is about love. It's about the people who raised us, the people who once stayed up at night when we were sick, who gave us comfort when we were afraid, who sacrificed their sleep so we could rest. And now, years later, it's us watching them struggle at night, tossing, turning, waking again and again, exhausted by morning. I know how heavy that feels. It's heartbreaking, truly heartbreaking. You wish you could wave a hand and give them back the rest they deserve. You see how lack of sleep wears them down. Their memory fades faster, their mood dips lower, their balance grows weaker. And every time you hear that bathroom door creak at 2 a.m., you feel a knot in your stomach, because you know another night of peace has slipped away. But here's what I need you to hear tonight. Small changes create peaceful nights. You don't need to transform everything at once. You don't need to feel powerless. Peace isn't found in one giant leap. It's built, one gentle step at a time. Think about it. Dimming the lights earlier helps the body's natural rhythm. A light walk after dinner calms the muscles and eases the mind. Choosing a lighter meal reduces those 3 a.m. wake-up calls. And yes, sometimes even the simplest herb, chewed slowly before bed, can calm the body and the bladder in ways medicine never taught us. These are not dramatic, impossible changes. These are soft, steady steps. And here's the beauty. When you make even one of these small changes, you begin a ripple effect. Tonight, maybe your loved one only wakes up twice instead of 4 times. Tomorrow, maybe they fall back asleep faster. And a few weeks from now, maybe they're sleeping 5, 6, even 7 hours without interruption. Can you imagine the difference that would make in their energy, their mood, their joy? Because sleep isn't just sleep. It's healing, it's memory, it's balance, it's dignity. It's the strength that allows an elderly parent to walk without fear of falling. It's the sharpness that lets them remember your name, your children's laughter, the stories they love to tell. And that's why I say to you, try one tip tonight. Just one. It could be a warm cup of tea instead of a late snack. It could be turning off the bright screens and letting the house grow calm. It could be a few minutes of breathing together, slowing the heart and softening the mind before bed. Do not underestimate the power of small steps, because every small step brings peace. Every small step is an act of love. And one day when you see your loved one resting deeper, waking fresher, smiling brighter, you'll realize these little choices were never little at all. And if you're the one struggling, if you're the one waking 3, 4, 5 times every night, let this be your reminder. You are not broken, you are not helpless, and you are not alone. You deserve rest. You deserve mornings where you wake feeling strong, steady, and hopeful. And it is possible, with patience, with knowledge, with love. So tonight, make the promise to yourself, or to your parent, or to your spouse. Just one change tonight, just one. And tomorrow, build on it. Because peace isn't found in some day. It begins tonight, and you have the power to bring it closer. And now, as we bring this journey to a close, let's take a moment to remember everything we've uncovered tonight. We began by asking the hard question, why do so many seniors wake up at night, restless, shuffling to the bathroom again and again, unable to fall back asleep? Together, we looked at the truth. Aging bladders, weakened rhythms, medications, and habits that silently steal rest away. We talked about the power of nature, that simple herb you can chew for 60 seconds before bed, a herb that gently calms both body and bladder, restoring a deeper kind of rest. We kept it real, addressing the myths that say only pills can help, when in fact, safer, softer answers are right in front of us. We explored the science of sleep itself, how deep rest shrinks with age, and why that matters so much for memory, balance, mood, and even immunity. We broke down diet, how salt, sugar, caffeine, and late meals sabotage the night, and how lighter, wiser choices bring mornings filled with energy instead of exhaustion. We unwrapped the habits, the naps that backfire, the inactivity that steals energy, the routines that can be reshaped into bedtime rituals of peace. And we face the hidden causes, the overlooked conditions like apnea or prostate troubles, reminding ourselves that it's just old age is not an answer. It's a dangerous excuse. And finally, we stood at the heart of this message. The caregiver's role, the quiet heroism of patience, of observation, of love in action. Because whether you are the one struggling or the one watching a parent or spouse struggle, you now hold the tools to make the nights calmer, gentler, and safer. So let me ask you, have you noticed this in someone you love? Have you watched a parent, a grandparent, or even yourself waking again and again, worn down by sleepless nights? Share it below. Write your story in the comments. Because when you share, you don't just release a burden, you help someone else who's walking the same path feel less alone. And I need to say this clearly. This is your moment. Subscribe right now and make sure you never miss advice that could protect your family. Don't gamble with the health and safety of the people you love most. If you walk away without subscribing, I truly hope you don't end up regretting it the night your loved one stumbles in the dark, exhausted from waking up yet again. That's not a risk worth taking. If you refuse to subscribe, fine, but at least drop into the comments and tell us why. Be honest, because that choice could cost more than you think. And while you're here, remember this. The Elderly Spring Sleep Wellness Kit is waiting for you in the description. I designed it as a gentle, practical guide, a way to take everything we've talked about tonight and put it into daily action. You don't need to guess. You don't need to feel lost. It's all there for you, step by step. Check the description and grab your copy, because peace at night is priceless. So if this was helpful to you, if it gave you even one insight you can put into practice tonight, then join our Elderly Spring family by subscribing. We share weekly insights, stories, and solutions. Not theory, but real answers for elderly health, wellness, and dignity. Thank you truly for spending this time with me. I know 2 hours is a lot to give, and the fact that you stayed shows how much you care. That love, that willingness to learn, is what makes all the difference. So until next time, stay strong, stay patient, stay loving. The journey is not easy, but you are not walking it alone. Together, we can give our loved ones the peace they deserve. I'll see you in the next video.